We're live, baby. We're live. We're back at it again with a Tuesday live stream. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that we made it through another week. This weekend was quite eventful for me. Quite eventful. If you guys haven't kept up with the news that's been going on, yeah, it's been pretty nuts. But as of right now, actually, I'm doing A-okay. It's been a good overall day. A very busy day today for me, but I'm happy to be here hanging out with all of you guys, ready for another stream right now, another Tuesday live stream, just hanging back, sitting back, relaxing, hanging out with the Airsoft community. And I got a special little thing going on for tonight as well. I got a special little stream planned for tonight, something different that we don't normally do, something that I actually have been wanting to try for a little bit. We're going to be doing a tier list today. We're going to be doing a tier list, talking about all, at least the ones that I can remember, all the ones that I remember. That should be the better title. All the action movies that I can remember, that I think, right, generally are pretty big within the Airsoft zeitgeist in terms of referential material that we quote on a regular basis, things that have inspired us as players to get into this amazing hobby. Right, it can be falling under any one of those criteria, but I just figured it'd be kind of cool to kind of rank all that stuff, right, sort of see where it falls. These are the ones that I can remember. Now, if I'm going to be going over this list in a little bit, and if there's movies that I've missed out on or that you feel should be there, just, you can mention it in the live chat. I don't know if I'll be able to go ahead and put it up there right now. I might be able to. But, just bear with me. I have this list for a reason. I have this very big list for a reason. But let's see who's first in the chat right now. Let's see here. 15 growing viewers, 16 now going up. Appreciate every single one of you guys. If you guys can, make sure to go and leave a like on this stream. If you're not already, make sure to hit that bell icon so you're notified every time we drop new content on the channel. I appreciate every single one of you, of course. But it would mean the absolute world to me if you guys were also able to get all your Airsoft goodies from airsoftgi.com. It's the most direct way to support the channel. It'll make sure that these live streams keep going, the giveaways keep happening, the camera stays on, and the lights stay on as well. So if you want to make sure that all that still stays in place, you got to make sure to get your orders in through Airsoft GI. We have thousands of discounted products right now on the website. So many discounted stuff. I'll even leave a link to all the special shocker deals and sale items on the site as well. I'll go ahead and leave a link to that in the live chat for everyone to go ahead and take a look for yourselves. There you go. Right, all these thousands of products that are discounted due to summer sales, up to 25% off. And guess what, guys? Even if it's not discounted already, you can save 10% off when you use coupon code 2025. That's 2025 at checkout. And again, that can literally be for anything that's not already discounted. Anything that's not already discounted, right? And there are thousands of things that which you can go and do that for as well. New products even as well. Of course, all these entries right now, again, what you see that right there, every $50 gets you 2 entries into this week's giveaway. That's going to be in regards to the live stream giveaway, which we do every week. Of course, all it takes is a $20 greater order, and you are automatically entered. Literally nothing else is required other than just watching the very next stream. That's literally all you got to do. There's no additional cost of entry, right? You're not paying for a ticket or anything. All you got to do is just order something on GI. It's $20 or more, and you are in, baby. You are in. Going up in viewer count, appreciate every single one of you. Happy Ghost Ninja, hello. Drexen, episode 3, just because episode 3 is definitely got to be my favorite Star Wars episode. Maybe second, only to Empire Strikes Back. But again, I feel like that's pretty common, Davin Space, first stream, just ordered the 289 mystery box 15 minutes ago. Hey, no worries. Hey, Devin, don't worry. You are still entered into the giveaway. You still have a shot at winning the giveaway itself. So you are good, brother. You are good. Was good, Succulent Feet. Yeah, you gotta love the name. What's going on, dude? How are you been? What has happened, dog? Good to have you here as well. Victor Montes, RPG lovers, good to see you. Little Bush Airsoft, yo, what's happening? Good to have you here as well. Genesis Martinez, hello. Fidel, what's happening, dog? What's happening? You were not first here. Steyer, what's happening? Good to have you here as well, my man. Good to have everybody here. Guys, share this around with as many people as possible. Let people know that we are live right now. And again, if you do have any Airsoft-related questions, this is still a Q&A stream, technically speaking. So if you do have any Airsoft-related questions or complete nonsensical questions, you are more than welcome to go ahead and ask away. Just put the letter Q right in front of your question. It's going to make it a lot easier for me to spot and identify. And continue sharing this. YouTube is not doing us any favors. If anything, they are actually doing us quite a disservice in not notifying our subscribers that we are live, or that whenever a new video drops, they're not really sharing it or allowing it to grow as organically as many other channels, which is total BS. But again, any and all help is greatly appreciated, so make sure to go and share this around as much as possible. All right. Hello. Nick 101. Hey, thanks for the help with the 416 order. Hey, Nick 101. What's up, man? Good to have you on the stream, dude. Good to have you on the stream. Yeah. This man showed up in the storefront yesterday and dropped hella bread, getting himself 416 and a ton of accessories as well, doing a Zero Dark 30 build, doing that sort of dev crew aesthetic, which is still really cool. It's still really hot even to this day, many years later. And there are plenty of people within the Muslim community that would 100% agree with me and you as well. But yeah, man, we're going to be doing a tier list today where we're going to be talking about different movies and forms of media, specifically movies. Really, that's like the biggest thing that we're concentrating on that have either inspired us, things that are the most referential, things that are constantly looked at, and that are continuing to get other new players into the scene as well. Alvin Lemon, Isaias, thank you again for getting my MCX back and running. Can't believe it was something that simple. I saw Cisco and wanted to say hi, but I think he was taking his lunch. No worries, Alvin Lemon. If I know you're not normally in the storefront, but if you ever see Cisco or Boaz or myself, right, if you ever just want to say what's, I mean, I'm usually going to be there. I'm like usually the first guy to respond. But if you see any one of us, right, even if we're on our lunch, do not be afraid to just be like, oh, hey, man, what's up, right? Pleasure meeting you. But same, man, same. Dude, it was awesome meeting you in person as well. And I was glad we were able to get that MCX up and running. Again, it was fairly simple for everyone that is wondering in the chat. It was a motor connector just quickly came undone. It just got a little loose, popped off, so it just popped it back right into place. It was super simple, super easy. I'm sure you guys have had that experience before happen. Even on the most expensive airsoft guns, it can still happen where something as simple as a motor connector comes undone. Maybe the motor height screw is not adjusted properly. It happens, you know what I mean? It happens. Thankfully, it was just something very simple for us to go ahead and fix. All right. Now, without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started in on this? Remember, guys, during this time frame, make sure to get your orders in, qualify for this week's live stream giveaway. All right. But Mr. Savage 710 and Cutter, what's going on, dude? It's good to have you here as well. You're joined in just in time. All right. So here's my tier list. This is what we're working with here. Forgive me, I don't have the free. I'm using the free version of this, so there might be like an ad or two that like pops up. But regardless, we will continue onward. So I have several different tiers here. You guys know how this works. S, A, B, C, D. All right. Ranking. S obviously being like the primo, absolute go-to. This is the GOAT, right? This is going to be reserved for only the best of the best, right? A tier, still really good. Would consider it in very high regards. B is still solid. Not the best, but definitely far from being bad, for sure. C tier, it can go either way. You can mean it's C positive or C derogatory. It really depends on your interpretation. Maybe I should have made a C plus and a C minus, but I'll keep it like that. I want to keep it simple. D is, you know what I mean? Like it's, I consider that fairly bad, right? The only reason I don't have an F on here is because generally speaking, the majority of the movies that I've selected and the majority of the media that I've put it on here, I wouldn't say any of these are necessarily like dog water. Not the best. Maybe one of their two of them. I think you'll know which one I'm talking about if you're well versed in the film. You will notice that maybe there's like one or two on here that's like maybe not that good. Again, you can guess whichever one that one is. But again, I would not call it absolute dookie. You know what I'm saying? I would not consider it absolute dookie. Again, these are either war movies, action movies that I would say that are what I hear as being the most influential in getting people into airsoft, the most referenced, the most adored within the airsoft community. But why don't we get on into this and start off with a banger, right? Start off with a banger. First up, we got Saving Private Ryan. Saving Private Ryan. That's the very first one that we got here. Saving Private Ryan, right? Now, I think I speak for everybody when I say that Saving Private Ryan is probably S tier. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the gold standard for what S tier is. Now, if you were to put it into A, I wouldn't be mad, but I think generally speaking, the the overall consensus is that Saving Private Ryan is absolutely goated, right? I mean, just the first couple of minutes alone of that movie, the first 10 minutes, the first 10-15 minutes of that movie alone are probably S tier, right? Who doesn't remember the beach landing scene? Right, so much. The movie was so popular that they even do. Like, they originally, the whole concept behind the Medal of Honor games was meant to be a Saving Private Ryan video game. That was the original intent, which eventually a lot of those guys that worked on that game, the original series, ended up moving on to Call of Duty, oddly enough, if you believe it or not. It's a true story. Look it up. But I would say Saving Private Ryan, honestly, like, I feel like no one's going to argue with me when I say it's S tier, right? It's got to be S tier. It's got to be S tier. A tier, I would not be mad at you. No. Is it my personal favorite movie? No. I think it does suffer from the kind of like, granted, Saving Private Ryan was so big at the time, you know what I mean? It definitely inspired a lot of other films like after it. But I would say it's not my favorite movie on this list. It's actually not my favorite movie on this list. It's not even my favorite war movie, to be honest. But I do feel like it does kind of suffer from a few Hollywoodisms later on in the movie, especially when it comes to like the dynamics between the characters and the cast, right? I feel like they do kind of fall into like a little bit of the stereotypes, but I'm okay with it, again, because it's just so beautifully shot, beautifully directed, and the time that it came out, it was such an influential movie, right? Who doesn't want to do like a World War II airsoft thing, right? Just after watching this movie. You cannot tell me that you watch Saving Private Ryan and you don't want to do an Omaha beach landing scene. You can't tell me. You can't tell me. You say in relation to airsoft, it's iffy, Darwin's Arbiter? Which, by the way, good to have you here as well. I would say it's pretty influential for airsoft. At least, granted, it could be a generational thing, right? It could be a generational thing, right? Depending on what year you grew up in, what time period you saw it in, right? For me, I saw it right at that perfect age where a lot of the guys that I know that got into airsoft got into it because of Saving Private Ryan. That was actually a very big reason. A lot of guys that I knew started off with like their very first real AGs were like Thompsons. You know what I mean? Like that was a pretty big thing for them. But all right, moving on to the next one. By the way, if you guys feel like you want to disagree with any of my takes, by all means, feel free to go for it. Even if you're wrong, it's fine. I'm kidding. Okay. Even if I'm standing 10 toes deep and I'll die on certain hills. But no, well, we can go back and forth. You guys, I'll ask some questions if I don't know where to put it. You guys can go ahead and let me know yourselves. I think We Were Soldiers is also. Oh, I forgot We Were Soldiers. You know what? I'm gonna add that as well. I'm gonna add that. Hold on, 1 second. I'm gonna add that as well. We Were Soldiers. I completely forgot about that one. I was like going, what other Vietnam War movies are there? I was like, I'm pretty sure that's about it. Nah, I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong. We Were Soldiers. I will say, I like We Were Soldiers a lot for the action sequences. Of course, who doesn't, right? But I do think there are a few cheesy things here and there in the movie that I was like, S, let me do S. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put that there. That's just my personal opinion, though. But again, still beautifully shot. Mel Gibson still does a really, really good job. And so do a lot of the other actors there. They're really, really doing a good job. I'll go ahead and add that, though. I will add that to the list because that is important. I should add that. There you go. Okay. All right, now we're back. All right, moving on to the next one, though. What did I put here? What is this one? What is this? Oh, The Thin Red Line. That's right. I forgot about that. Okay, that's another movie that I feel like one of the many movies that came out of World War II era, right? Thin Red Line. What are you thinking? For me, I don't know too many people that reference it anymore. I remember back in the day people used to, but I don't really see too many people talking about it now. You know what I mean? Thin Red Line. If any of you guys are old enough to remember that movie or have seen it recently, because it's been years since I've seen this movie, right? You give it a B tier? All right, I guess we can always move stuff around too. We'll go ahead and put it in B tier for now, though I'm not opposed to putting it in C tier just because it is fairly forgettable. I remember how much the movie was hyped out when it was coming out, and how much, again, like so much was kept a secret, but by the time the movie came out, it just kind of felt, I don't know, like it didn't really feel like that memorable, you know what I mean? Like I can't remember too much about the movie in the first place, so maybe I'll you know what, I'll leave it in B. I'll be nice. But if you guys feel like you want to have me move it into any place, you guys are more than welcome to go ahead and chime in as well. Tropic Thunder, hell no. That is not. The guns weren't even real. The guns they were shooting weren't even real. They were fake. They were dummy rounds. They were blanks. World War II era replica with modern tech would be lit. Absolutely, RPGs. Absolutely would be. That's what I've been hoping for. I know it's not going to happen, but that's what I've been hoping for all this time. I really want some, like, modern internals on, like, a classic World War II gun. You know what I mean? Or even more Cold War guns. You're preaching to the choir here, man. You're preaching to the choir here. Absolutely, I would love that. Okay, moving on to the next one. Warfare. I don't want to spoil it because again, it's not new, but it's definitely newer, at least the newest amongst all the things that I have listed here. I would say I kind of want to put it in A to S tier. Maybe it's because it's so new, it hasn't had as much of an impact yet, but I feel like most guys that I know have seen this were like, yeah, this is really, really good, right? This is really, really good. I would say I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it in A tier, but you guys are more than welcome to go ahead and let me know, and then I might be able to go out a movie. If you convince me, I will be able to go ahead and put it in S tier. I just don't want to, I also don't want to talk about it too much just because I know some people haven't seen it as of yet. All right, moving on to the next one. Okay, now, come on, Chad, come on. You know I had to do it I had to talk about Blackhawk Down, baby. Okay, I mean, if you're just asking me, right? Like gut instinct, gun to my head, what am I picking? S tier, baby. That's S tier. Absolutely, that's S tier. I mean, okay. I'll listen to it. Nah, it's up S tier. S tier, you can fight me about it. But all right, man, I don't want to hear it. There are whole maps on airsoft fields that are designed to simulate, protecting the helicopter in the middle of the map. Are you kidding me? That is for sure S tier. Absolutely. No question. No question, S tier. 100%. Dude, like, you cannot tell me, right? Not only is it, like, obviously true story, right? Obviously the real events that happened in Mogadishu, Gothic Serpent. The gear, believe it or not, when it came to the Army Rangers, was actually very good. Was actually really, really good. The only thing they changed a little bit was the guns. There were Rangers that had 733s. They didn't all have M16A2s, but again, that's fine. The whole point in the movie was, the reason why they did that was to more easily distinguish who were the Rangers and who were Delta, right? That was the whole reason why they did that. The Delta Force gear, it wasn't perfect, but it definitely got the vibes across. And you cannot tell me if you've been playing for more than, like, I would say 10 years, right? If you've been playing for at minimum 10 years or even more, you can't tell me that you didn't see a ton of guys trying to make their own impression kits for that Delta Force Gothic Serpent kit. They were everywhere, right? And everyone back in the day wanted to do, the Delta Carbine. Everyone wanted to go out and do the 733. Everyone was doing it. Everyone was building the Car 15s out, or M14s. Victor, I know you have one right now, right? You have two guns built based off the Delta Snipers. Absolutely. Right? Abso-freaking-lutely. So I think that I'm pretty good at making that there. I think it's pretty valid. I think that's pretty valid. I don't think really anyone's gonna. And the game was fun too. Yeah, the OG game back in the day, which I did play. I know I'm an old man. I did play that game, and that shit was fire, bro. That shit was fire. Okay, all right. Now we're gonna move on to the next one. Actually, hold on. I see a few comments. Joshua Landers, dude. Every airsofters thinks of Tropic Thunder as they fake their death after getting pelted with plastic. But it's funny you mention that. Because that itself is inspired by something else, which I'm gonna put down as well. All right. Moving on up. S tier for sure. Every time someone is asking for an objective game, Blackhawk Down is always comes. Absolutely. All right. Die Hard. Okay, I'm gonna glaze it a little bit. Die Hard is what got me into airsoft. I'm not even joking. Everything here, there was two movies that like really sealed the deal in terms of getting me into it, right? This for sure. It got me into guns in the first place, right? My whole reason why I love the MP5 and will always have a special place in my heart is because of Die Hard. Same thing with the M9, right? This movie alone made me a through and through M9 boy, right? I'm an M9 guy at the end of the day, and I love me some MP5s. And I have this movie to thank because of it. Now, I don't hear it quoted as often, and I don't see it being like recreated. Like no one's making a bunch of John McClane loadout videos. So I'm willing to go in C tier. For me personally, in my own head canon, it's A, right? It's A. As a movie, I think it's A or S tier, right? The best Christmas movie objectively. Like you cannot argue. This is the best Christmas movie of all time. But as far as its relation to airsoft, I know it's not going to be everyone's go-to in terms of like when you think, okay, movies that inspired airsofters, I know this is probably not one that everyone thinks about. So I'll leave it in between here. I definitely want to say it's, you know what? Here, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put Thin Red Line in C, and I'm gonna put Die Hard in B. How about that? Is that fine? Is that fine with all y'all? Chat, let me know what you think about that, and I'll do it. Oh, actually, I see some really good suggestions as well. I'm gonna put them in here as well because I didn't have it earlier, and freaking LGC, great suggestion. I completely forgot about that. And it's funny because I actually really love that movie. All right. Yeah, I forgot about that one entirely, but that'll be remedied. All right, let's go here. I forgot one more. I'm gonna put this in here. Okay. All right, now let's go back to here. Remember, guys, take advantage of all the sales we got going on right now. Any $20 or greater order, you're automatically entered. But every $50 you spend gets you 2 entries into this week's giveaway. So make sure to get those orders in before time runs out. This promo is only going till 9:30, so don't miss out. Okay. So if you guys are okay with that, I'm gonna leave that there. Right. Next one. Okay. This is another movie that got me like obsessed with those. You know when you're a kid and you're thinking like, oh, if a zombie apocalypse were to happen, you know, how would I survive it, right? What would you do, right? That whole question, right, has inspired hours-long discussions between friends, especially airsofters on the field too. And the Red Dawn scenario is one of my favorite scenarios too. It's for sure got to be one of my favorite scenarios. Red Dawn, I think for me, if I had to just instinctually, I want to put it in A. And I'll leave it there for now. Again, we can discuss it. But I think Red Dawn is awesome because it is one of those what if movies, you know what I mean? That you got to ask yourself, you know, what if? And I would say that I think a lot of us, you know, that especially are big into like the milsim scene, or if you're into like the Rust 4 sort of like impression kits, you know, Red Dawn is one of those movies that's kind of like, I don't know, it just for some reason it gets talked about quite a bit in those communities, right? And again, like everyone's obsession with Rust 4 gear, Rust 4 equipment, right? That sort of Eastern Bloc stuff. I feel like, especially a lot of older generation, I feel like it comes from Red Dawn. And I feel like right now in the FPS gaming scene, we're even seeing like, again, there's this new game that's going to be coming out that's specifically taking place in a what if the Cold War got hot type situation. I mean, Black Ops, you know, back in the day, COD, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's that kind of whole Cold War vibes that you get from Red Dawn that I think a lot of people, it might be a little niche, but I think people still do look back very, very fondly. Red Dawn is A tier? Absolutely. Who doesn't also, when you're on the field and you have an AK, who doesn't just Wolverines, you know, after a match? Like, come on, there's always that one guy that does it. It might be me. All right? Okay. Now, moving on. Now, this is so funny. Obviously, there's the original, the good one, the classic. You guys remember the remake with Josh Peck and Chris Hemsworth? So that was a thing. I'm gonna be honest with you, chat. I remember when this movie came out in high school, I was pumped. I remember seeing the trailer for it. I was like, yo, fuck yeah. I remember me and my airsoft buddies who I met in high school, we were friends at the time. We're like, oh man, let's do it, right? Let's do it, right? Let's go watch it because we saw the original, we loved it. This new one's gonna be awesome, right? Because it's gonna have modern guns, set in modern times, gonna be sick, and they're going against North Korea. I know in the movie, like behind the scenes, it was very obvious that the movie was originally meant to be against the Chinese, but obviously they didn't want to cause controversy, so they're like, all right, North Korea it is, why not, right? I kind of want to put it there. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. No, it didn't happen. Darwin. No, it didn't happen. Dude, that's hilarious. Dude, that's fucking funny. Yeah, dude, I don't. Here's the thing. There are things from the movie that I think are fine, you know, that are good, but I don't think the good outweighs the bad in this scenario. I think there's definitely a lot more bad from this than there are good. It's a real darn shame because I feel like had they done it right, they actually could have had this is one of those movies that I think, you know what, I could see a trilogy out of this. Really, I could see a really, really good trilogy from like a Red Dawn series. That would be awesome. Are you kidding me? That'd be sick as fuck, right? I don't want a TV show. I want like 3 movie part series, right? I could see that being a thing. I really could, and it could be done very, very well if the first one had been executed more, more carefully. It wasn't as rushed. The characters were a little bit more fleshed out, more written. Because I'm not gonna lie, as much as I liked back in the day Josh Peck as an actor, bear in mind I'm like one of the biggest Drake and Josh fans ever, like fucking ever, right? I gotta be honest, I don't think he was right for the role. I think he was miscast for his character. I think there could have been plenty of other actors they could have used for this. Chris Hemsworth, I know, was there for like the star power. He did okay, but he was just kind of bland, not very memorable. Ooh, excuse me. And if they were trying to go for the more realistic take, then okay, sure. But I don't know. I can't help but compare it to the original, and it just feels like it falls flat. You know what I mean? It falls very, very flat. And it feels very dated, oddly enough. Like, very dated watching it. I don't know why. Like, you would think that something like this would be like, okay, you could apply it to modern. Like, no, it feels incredibly dated. Like, this feels very early 2010s. Like, and it shows. It very much shows. Even the jokes they do just don't feel like they really land that well. Yeah, David J. Yeah, why not? They made 10 Fast and Furious movies. That's true, though. Here's the thing, though. I will say, just complete off tangent, I really do like the first 3 Fast and Furious movies. I think the first 3 are actually really solid, right? They have their flaws. They're cheesy as fuck. They're campy as fuck, right? And some of the acting from some of the characters, pretty good. From others, not very good. Even some of the VFX that they used, some of the effects that they had were definitely dated. But I gotta be honest, those movies were entertaining as all hell. You know why? Because they had a focus on street racing. That's why. If I want to watch a street racing movie, it's because I want to see street racing. At least those movies gave me street racing. You know what I mean? Darktree, my boy, what's going on, man? You hopped in just in time, a little late, but of course, no worries, no worries. We're doing a tier list for different movies that in my opinion, have greatly inspired a lot of airsofters or are talked about a lot, incredibly influential or very big in the airsoft zeitgeist, if you will. Right. So we just got done talking about the remake, for sure, of the original of the remake of Red Dawn, which again, not my cup of tea. I was very disappointed. Yeah, I was underwhelmed. That's the best thing I can say for it, so I'm gonna put it in D. If there was an F tier, I wouldn't put it there, but it's cutting it close. I'll leave it at that. Okay, next one. Now this one for sure, minimum has to be A tier. Sicario. Come on, man. Like, Darktree. Back me up here. You know that when we've gone to HSP before, when we go through the tunnel, right, on Forbidden City, tell me that shit don't give you Sicario vibes. It's dark, right, very CQC. We don't know what's around the corner, right? We have to pull out our flashlights on our pistols, and we're going through trying to clear this fucking tunnel, right? Tell me you're not hearing the score, the OST, right, of Sicario in the background as you're trying to clear it out, man. Dude, like, that is vibes, bro. That is absolute vibes. The only reason I don't think it is S tier, I honestly, I'm kind of tempted to put it in S tier. You know what? It's my list. I can do whatever the fuck I want. S tier, baby. S tier. Because I love it so much. Okay, I'm biased. I like it a lot, dude. There's Tactical League just had a Sicario themed game event. Ever since that movie came out, there have been more and more airsoft events inspired by this movie and the setting that it uses, right, for the backdrop for airsoft events, man. Like, you know what I mean? What about Choose the Sun? I might add it. I feel like that one doesn't really get talked about too much. That one's kind of slept on. I think the people that know it know that it's pretty good, but I don't know if I might add it. I might add it onto the list. S tier, yeah, I'd say it's S tier too. I'd say it's S tier as well. Have you ever seen the movie Superfast? Oh no, dude, yes, it's like the parody style movies. Dude, that movie was terrible. That was terrible. I mean, it's funny here and there, but like, it's terrible. You know what, DJ? I might have to add that. Green Zone, solid as fuck. Green Zone was solid as fuck. But again, no one talks about it for some reason. And I feel like Hurt Locker, there's just so much stuff that was like, I feel like it was kind of bullshit about that movie. You know what I mean? All right. Let's go. Let's go through it. Now, because we talked about Sicario, let's talk about Sicario 2. Sicario 2, didn't like it as much as the first one, but I'm willing to put it in either C or B tier. C or B tier. If you guys feel this, if you disagree with me, I can go ahead and change the placement, but I'm gonna put it in C tier above Thin Red Line. I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna put that there. Okay. I'm gonna put that there. Again, I can move it to B. If you guys prefer. But I feel like it didn't strike the same chord as it did with the first one. Because the first one, I felt like the pacing and the story was like so much better. Again, that's just me personally. You can disagree with me if you want. I'm gonna move on though. I'm gonna move on to the next one. Predator, baby. DJ, I do have American Sniper, but I can add Lone Survivor. Same thing with SWAT too. I actually really like that movie too. But Predator. The OG, the original Mr. Olympia fights roided out alien hunter. Man, dude, every person that I know that plays Airsoft has seen Predator, right? Everyone that uses an LMG has seen Predator and has recreated the jungle, the firing thousands of rounds into the jungle, right? Do I hear it as quoted as often? Unfortunately, not as much as it should be, right? I mean, you got the classic Arnold lines, right? Throws a knife into one of the bad guy goons, right? And as soon as he's like stuck on the door, stick around, right? Like, come on, man, you can't tell me that shit ain't clean, dude. That shit's awesome. If it bleeds, we can kill it, right? So many good lines. You know what I mean? Oh, dude, I love Predator. It's such a good movie, right? The gunplay is still really cool even to this day. I love how just over the top, macho, cheesy it is, man. Like, it's just fucking great. It's just good. You know what I mean? This movie will turn you into a sexual tyrannosaur, like me. I love that movie, dude. It's so good. RBG lovers, Predator is on the list. I bet you command. You know what? Yes, of course. Get to the chopper. Oh, motherfucker! I forgot the most. Yes, get to the chopper. How many times? Right? How many? Right? Like, again, quoted. That's the one thing. If anything, if nothing else, you gotta agree that shit is quoted like crazy. Right? All right. Here. Because I said I would. All right, where is it? Where are you? Yeah. I'm gonna put Commando on here as well. Because you know what? If Predator's on there, Commando has every right to be on there as well. But that's it for Arnold movies. I can't put too many Arnold movies on there. All right, let me add this as well. Commando, yes, add that on there. I don't know if I'll be able to get through all this. I'm gonna be real. I don't know if I can get all of it on here. I'm gonna try this. There we go. Yeah. Put that there too. I misspelled it. There we go. I'm gonna put like 2 more things on here, and that'll be it. Let's see here. You know what? I think. Do I have time for one more? You know what? I'll put one more. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll put this one. There we go. Yeah, I'll put this movie on here too. We'll talk about these when we get to them. All right. Yeah. All right, let's add the last 2. Come on, baby. Oh God. How do I delete that one? You know what? We'll leave it. We'll leave that one. There's gonna be a double on here by accident. That's just my fault. Let's add that one. All right. We'll get back at it. We're back at it. Remember, guys, get those orders in. Do not miss out. Take advantage of promotion. You guys want to know how to win the next live stream giveaway going on this Thursday for a free airsoft gun? You're going to make sure to get those orders in. Any $20 or greater order, and you have a shot at winning. But take advantage of that promo. Every $50 you spend gets you 2 entries. Please and thank you. But let's keep moving on. I added those, by the way, DJ. I did add those. All right, Heat. Another classic. What can I say about Heat that hasn't already been... I'm going to leave it here for now. I can move it. What can I say about Heat that hasn't already been said, right? To this day, right, it's still regarded as one of the most, like, realistic depictions on how to operate, you know, in an urban setting like that, right? How to handle guns manipulation, right? To this day, Marine Corps will still use that Val Kilmer's reload scenes, right? And people will still glaze them up, even to this day. Saying that he handles that gun better than a lot of cadets do. You know what I mean? Like, that's, like, if that don't at least qualify for something, I don't know what does, right? Here's the thing, though. Believe it or not, Heat is a much slower paced movie. It is a much slower paced, character driven movie, especially if we're talking about, you know, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro's characters, right? Very much focused on them. And when they have their face down scene, yeah, of course it's fucking cool, right? But it definitely is on the slower pace, of course, except when it comes down to the heist scenes themselves. The first heist scene was dope. The big one in the center of the movie was amazing, right? That's the one that everyone remembers. So I'm reluctant to give it the S tier for me personally. The last scenes are freaking dope on there. I'm reluctant to give it S tier though, but I am willing to give it an A tier for how highly regarded it is, right? Yes, Darktree. Den of Thieves is indeed on the list as well, my friends. Den of Thieves is on there as well. Rambo, maybe I might come down to it. What is your daddy? What does he do? Dude, I love that one. Kindergarten Cop is awesome. But Den of Thieves, on the other hand, even though it is very much cut from the same cloth, from the very same vein as Heat, I personally want to give it an S. I'll be honest, I think I prefer, I know it's going to sound controversial to a lot of my old heads out there, but I think I prefer Den of Thieves over Heat. For me personally. You know what I mean? Like, I really like it. I hold it in high regard. I don't know if everyone's going to say the same thing. And again, it doesn't come as highly revered as, say, Heat does, right? Especially in the old cinema head realm. So I will put it in A tier behind Heat. That's going to be my ranking for it. For me personally. All right? I'm not even going to talk about Den of Thieves 2. I haven't seen it. I honestly didn't really look that good to me. But yeah. All right, now. Another classic. We're going back to 1986, baby. 1986. With James Cameron's Aliens. Remember how I said there was a few movies that got, like, 2 movies specifically that really got me into it? Aliens was the other one. Right? Aliens was another one that got me into guns, got me into the whole like, this is my favorite. I'm not even joking. Outside of Star Wars, outside of, you know, Jurassic Park, right? Which I love those 2 fucking properties. Aliens as a standalone movie, without having to rely on any other movie, is probably got to be my favorite movie of all time, right? If I had to put on a sci-fi movie or an action movie without thinking, it's usually going to be Aliens. Everything from the set design, everything from the characters, everything from, like, literally everything. The score even, right? Even though it's simpler, it's so effective. The gunplay in this is so freaking awesome. Seeing Sigourney Weaver literally duct tape 2 guns together and effectively use that against swarms of xenomorphs is amazing to look at, right? And it's incredibly well character driven, right? She does a fantastic job in this movie. The Colonial Marines, are you kidding me? You guys forget that for a long time there was the the pulse rifle, the M41A pulse rifle was a big thing in Airsoft, right? Like, but back in the day, fans used to have to buy a Thompson AEG, buy the kits for it, and then build it out, right? Which were already, those kits were hard to get. And then when they disappeared, they did eventually get the full-on pulse rifle AEG that was pre-built out the box, which I went out of my way to buy that. Like, I bought it. You know what I mean? That was like the second gun that I ever bought. Third. That was actually the third gun. Third gun that I had ever bought with my money, right? and I was so happy that I bought it. I was like, yes. And I'm still to this day, I do plan on eventually having my own Colonial Marines cosplay armor that I want to make, that I will be bringing to the airsoft field. Well, I have fielded that pulse rifle. I'll be honest, not that great out the box. With that being said, with a few upgrades, I'm sure I can get it up and running no problem. But man, everyone knew exactly what that gun was. The minute I brought it onto the field, everyone was like, damn. And of course, I'd have my Wailing Yutani patch on me as well, and everyone was like, oh, this kid knows. Like, he's in the know. He knows what's up. And I was like, yeah, I do. Dude, I fucking love Aliens. Aliens is like, oh, so good. If you haven't seen the original Ridley Scott's 1979 Alien or 1986 James Cameron's Aliens, do yourself a favor, go on and watch it. It's fucking phenomenal. It's fantastic. I can't glaze it enough. I could sit here all day and talk about why I love it. But again, for me, game over, man. Game over. Like, come on, dude. Like, that quote alone earns like a top spot. But I know that a lot of the newer kids, a lot of new gen don't really know it as well. So that's why it only goes down a little bit. It goes down to a B ranking. And I feel like if Predator is there, I feel like Aliens should be there around the same place as well. All right. Oh, no, DJ, I had a pulse rifle too, but it fell out of my closet and broke, so I threw it away. No, DJ, no. Why would you throw it away? No. Anyway, moving on. I'm talking about Arnold too much. All right, next one. Another classic. Full Metal Jacket, baby. I'm not going to lie. Giving it a retrospective now, this movie's disturbing as fuck. But again, it's perfectly appropriate for the Vietnam theme, right? Perfectly appropriate for what it was meant to do, right? Stanley Kubrick really knows how to make you uncomfortable and disturb you a little bit. I would say Full Metal Jacket, for me, probably an A tier, right? It's either an A or a B, just because I don't see it quoted as often or as much, with the exception of R. Lee Ermey's entire lines. All of his lines from the movie is completely memorized by a lot of people. Everyone loves that drill sergeant scene, right? What's the it's like, queers and steers come from Texas type, you know what I mean? Like that whole shit, I can't tell you the amount of times or how tall are you? I didn't know they stack shit that high, right? Like, dude, how many lines really, you know what I mean, can you take from this, right? So many. Just the other day, right? The whole ending scene when they're marching to the Mickey Mouse song, right? When they're all singing along, that shit was happening on the airsoft field. No joke, right? So I do think that it for sure has a place. I would say either B or A tier for me personally. Yeah, that's A. Yeah. Rest in peace. You know what's funny? I actually did get to meet him too. He signed I had an old Pasget helmet that I got from one of my best friends whose dad was a Marine. He gave it to me. He had two of them. He gave me a helmet and I got it signed by him. Dude, it was freaking sick, right? He wrote Semper Fi on it. He saved his signature. Dude, fucking awesome. Absolutely awesome. Yeah. Oh, Vietnam book. Tubuku. That shit was crazy, dude. But yeah, I would say A tier is pretty appropriate for that one. I'm noticing that there's a lot of Vietnam movies on here. You know what I will say? I think between World War II movies and Vietnam movies, I think I prefer Vietnam movies. Not to say I don't like my World War II stuff. My favorite World War II thing ever is actually coming up very, very soon. Platoon, baby. Platoon. I love Platoon. I'm gonna be real. I think Full Metal Jacket is technically speaking a better film. I think it's technically speaking a better film, right? But I want to say that for me personally, I prefer Platoon just for the sheer entertainment factor, right? I like the ending scene, right? The ending skirmish in Full Metal Jacket, and the vibes, of course, were immaculate. But I think I prefer Platoon because I feel like the climax of Platoon and the action sequences as a whole were just, in my opinion, more action-packed. I really like Platoon a lot. I really like Platoon a lot. Now, I'm okay with going to a B tier barely. You know what I mean? I think it should be an A tier, in my honest opinion. Apocalypse Now is coming up. Creekside Airsoft. Don't worry. Apocalypse Now. I ain't gonna forget Apocalypse Now, bro. That if any, I'm pretty forgetful. That's not something I'm forgetting, Josh. That's not something I'm forgetting at all. Right. Now I want to put Platoon personally in B or A. I want to say A. It's my list. I'm putting it in A. I'm putting it in A. Right. Now I'm putting it in A, but I will put it behind Full Metal Jacket because I can recognize that is a better film. But I just enjoy Platoon more. Willem Dafoe, man. And then you got so many big names in here. Charlie Sheen, Willem Dafoe, Johnny Depp, like Forrest Whitaker. Like so many names in this. So many, right? Matt Dillon even. Matt Dillon's character is fucking crazy, right? The character Bunny. Dude, hell no. That guy's insane, man. Like just evil. Like just psychotic chaos from Platoon, right? Like some of the worst of humanity. Right? But again, it's just the possibility that it can happen to literally any one of us. Anyway. Moving on. Apocalypse Now. Out of all, if we're talking just objectively as a film, it belongs here. Right? It absolutely belongs here. Right? In terms of, how memorable it is. Dude, the helicopter scene, right? Flight of the Valkyries, right? Helicopter diving in, air cav coming in on a little village, right? Like, that's iconic as all hell, man. Absolutely. Everyone would love to be able to go ahead and recreate that scene if they could, right? If they had the opportunity to recreate that scene in Airsoft, can you imagine? Now, I will say, not as quoted as much in the overall Airsoft sphere, right? Even though pretty much every Airsofter, right, has seen this. Or at the very least, they know what Apocalypse Now is, right? They know what it is. So I do want to keep it at its higher ranking. But you guys can go ahead and disagree with me if you feel like. It's entirely up to you. I think it should stay on S tier just out of respect. Francis Ford Coppola did a fucking amazing job on that. The soundtrack was awesome, right? Characters were freaking great. Again, it's solid, man. It's absolutely good. I goated. Literally goated. All right? Okay, now, in my opinion, is a glorified S tier. And anyone that fights me, I'm willing to stand on business for this. All right, love smell the napalm in the morning. Absolutely, Scott Haley. Dude, I love the quotes. And if anyone says that out loud, I know exactly what they're talking about. I just think maybe for the newer gen, maybe it's a little bit lost on. But to this day, right, what is still looked at as a masterpiece, right? Maybe a little cheesy, but it don't matter for how well put together the action, the fight choreography, the gunplay. The Matrix, baby. The Matrix, that's got to be an S, man. That's got to be an S. You know what I mean? Like, there ain't no way. I'm gonna move this over so we can see a little bit more. Yeah. There ain't no way that this is not an S tier, bro. It's got to be. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know? Like, Keanu Reeves, right? Like, Lawrence Fishburne. Dude. Amazing. Not only is it a good story, not only do we get to see young Keanu Reeves, right, in his prime, not only do we get to see, like, freaking, this is what I consider this sort of like, I don't want to call it the original John Wick, because obviously it's very different movies, right, but I do feel like we would not have John Wick if it were not for the Matrix. Matrix walked so John Wick could run, right? Like, if Keanu Reeves wasn't already a household name for you guys, right, for the general media audience, the Matrix was the thing that did it. You know what I mean? If Bill and Ted was like too silly for you, here comes the Matrix to shake things up, man. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's so good. It's so freaking sick, dude. Like, I will still enjoy. Like, if I see the Matrix is on TV, I'll still watch it. Like, it's just that good. I just love watching it, right? I especially, of course, love the climax scene, right, where it's him and Trinity going up against all them guards, or the rooftop scene where they're fighting the agents, right? Who hasn't tried to, like, dodge, right? Or no, the meme, right? The spoon was never there. There is no spoon, right? Like, come on. Like, it's too good. It's too good. The inch finger punch. Come on. Matrix is goated. Matrix is goated. We don't talk about the sequels, Scott Hensley. You know what? Scott Hensley, I'm going to say it. I'm gonna say it. I feel like I'm gonna say the gamer word. I'm gonna say it. I don't hate the Matrix sequels nearly as much as everyone else does. I think the last one was it Evolution? I forget what the last one was called. There were some really dumb things in that, for sure. But I don't hate them as much as everyone else does. You know, like I do feel like they get a little bit overly hated, but you know what I mean? Like there was still entertainment to be had. But I'm just mostly looking at the very first one. I'm mostly looking at the first one. But you can count it as a whole, right? Either way, I still think that the fight scenes alone make it an A tier. It's just the fact that, again, in the first movie, it was so great and changed everything, right? Like, it's still referenced even to this day that it's got to be an S tier. You know what I mean? I feel like putting it anything less would be a crime. I feel like any less of a ranking, it would have to be, I would be a hate crime. You know what I mean? Brewer, what's going on, man? Good to have you here as well. Just driving home. Just want to say hi. No worries, Airsoft Brewer. You got to be in on this, man. You got to be in on this. We're doing the tier list for movies, brother. All right. Now that we've done that, Matrix 4 was completely. I will say, yeah. That was rough. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna be real. I thought they only went up to 3. I forgot that 4 was a thing. I repressed it from my memory, dude. I completely forgot 4 was a thing. All right, you know what? Fuck it. 4 didn't happen. It didn't happen. What are you talking about? It didn't happen. They haven't made a 4th one yet. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, moving forward. Now that I've talked about the Matrix, all right, Mr. John Wick, the Baba Yaga himself. I mean, do I need to justify this? Does this need justification? Does this need any sort of reasoning for being here? If you don't already know, if any of you guys haven't seen John Wick, you need to go out and watch that, like right now, immediate. At the very least, watch the first 2. All of them are good. They're all good. At the very least, watch the first 2. Right? I want to say S because it's so damn good and big in the airsoft scene when you have whole guns that are available in the market named after it. Baba Yaga, come on, man. The Pit Viper, right? The Combat Master, come on, man. Like, it got to the point where those movies helped sell more Terran and Tactical Innovation stuff. It sold Terran Tactical even more so. He was already doing good on his own. He was great on his own. But these movies brought it to the mainstream, man. They brought it out to the mainstream. You know what I mean? Like, it's goated, man. It goated. I don't know how I went so long without watching John Wick, but my wife and I watched it together, and we love them. We binged together the first 3 in a day. Dude, yes, dude, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. Okay, I'm going to add, 2 more. Nick 101. Okay. I'm going to be real, Nick 101. Out of all the movies that I see here, right? If I had to put Zero Dark 30 on here, I would give it a C ranking. Not because the guns weren't cool, but because of just how little screen time there was, or how very little action there was in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, at least with Heat gets a pass because they at least have 2 scenes that are really, really action-packed. They're incredibly tense. Put you on the edge of your seat. With Zero Dark 30, I feel like it was only 1. I feel like there was only 1 scene, really, that towards the end, right? Obviously, the raid on the compound. That was, the only scene that I felt like really gets that. And again, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It's a great movie. But as an action movie, though, I'm trying to go for specifically action movies, or at least focus more so on the action itself, right? I'm going to add, though, there were 2 things that I missed. I'm going to add these on here just because I feel like they do indeed need to be on here. Let's do that one. Let's see here. Don't worry, guys. I see your suggestions. I'm not blind. I'm putting it here. There was one that I think everyone needs to put on there. That one, and I would say... Yeah, I would say that one. Interstellar, I don't know about Billy Molta. I don't know about that one being a... You know what I mean? I don't know about... Was there a lot of shooting in Interstellar? I don't remember maybe I'm remembering the wrong. Maybe I watched the wrong Interstellar. I don't know. Maybe I watched the wrong one. I don't know about that one. Okay. Let's see here. Where I'm gonna put in. Come on. I'm gonna put in this guy because I feel like this one needs to be talked about as well. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So I added one more entry on here as well. If we have time, we might be able to go ahead and add some more. Guys, remember to get your $20 or greater order so that way you can be entered into this week's live stream giveaway. I'll leave a link into the live chat for everyone to go and read the rules all for themselves. Don't miss out. Get those entries in. You know what I mean? Like, we're only counting orders placed from Tuesday up until Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, of course, right? Oh, of course, not Interstellar. I was just throwing out some movies. No, these are more like action movies, like stuff that either inspired us to get into it, things that are talked about in the airsoft scene or in the airsoft realm, right? Things that are referential in the scene itself. Interstellar makes for some great memes, though. Some fantastic memes. Okay, now, we just got done talking about John Wick. I don't think we need to talk more about John Wick. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, that's amazing. Right? All of them are fucking goated. Right? Billy was like, these are my faves. No fee. Yeah, I just gave my favorite movies. Next one. Okay. There's going to be these next three, actually four. These next four are not 100% movies. I'm going to be real. Right? They're not movies. They are, technically speaking, miniseries or shows. But I put them on here because you damn well know that if you've seen these are basically movies. These are basically movies, man. Like, you don't just watch one episode and you're done. You binge it all, right? Because they're just so fucking good. One that I think is incredibly slept on, and only recently kind of got a second revival, The Pacific. HBO's miniseries, The Pacific. Right? HBO miniseries, the most popular one, obviously, has got to be Band of Brothers. We all know that one, right? But I feel like, again, it's part of the biggest problem with the World War II theme, or the World War II era stuff, is that everyone really likes to glaze on the European theater, which, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of cool shit that was going on in the European front. But I definitely feel like that's the most mainstream stories that you could find out there, right? I've always been a really big fan of the stories that came from the Pacific theater, right? The stories that were told were very different, than what was going on in Germany, or what was going on in France, right, or Belgium, like all across Europe, or at the European front. I really think the Pacific theater is such a almost like it's really hard to compare, but I really want to say it's a slept-on type of theater comparatively. You know what I mean? I think there's some really good stuff to come from it, of course. Especially recently, there's been more stuff to come out for it. But I will say, I think the Pacific kind of gave that second sort of life to a lot of World War II enthusiasts that want, especially if they wanted to see a different side, other than the European theater. And based off the real books, right? What is it? The Pacific is amazing, based on real Marines, who fought in the Pacific theater. Some of them wrote really good books about their experience both during and after the war. Same for Band of Brothers. Yeah, no, same. Both are fantastic. For me personally, I really like the Pacific a lot. I know it's a really, really great series that unfortunately just didn't do as well, as its older brother, Band of Brothers, which is a darn shame because the Pacific is fucking awesome. Like, the actors are doing a fantastic job. The action sequences are amazing. They're fucking cool, right? And it really does kind of tug on your heartstrings. Like, you genuinely feel so fucking bad for these guys, man. You know what I mean? Like, you feel fucking terrible for these dudes, right? Like, you just want it to be fucking over for them, right? Like, they don't catch a fucking break. Right? And you really do see, like, characters like Eugene Sledge, right? Obviously, he's a real person. You do see his spiral from, like, essentially losing his humanity a lot. Just becoming this cold, ruthless killing machine, right? Going from this, young, idealistic, country boy, right? Same thing a little bit with Leckie as well. Bob Leckie, right? You see his struggles that he goes through as well. And the fact they're being torn into this mass war. Like, it's just, it sucks, man. You know what I mean? Like, war's hell. You know what I mean? If there's a theme here, it's like, war's hell, obviously, right? But goddamn, like, those dudes can't catch a fucking break, man, Oh, and then of course Sergeant John Basilone, rest in peace, brother. That guy is fucking epic, dude. That Guadalcanal scene where he's holding down that line, that defensive line, that perimeter, with the MG, dude. That scene was fucking fire. that scene was, if you know, that scene was amazing. And then the fact that he's running through the jungle, comes across a Japanese patrol and has to, go fisticuffs with it, dude. Amazing, bro. I love that. Okay, now that we've talked about that one, I didn't even give it a ranking. You know what? I will put it in B tier. I think it deserves way more, but I'm willing to put it in B tier because I know not as many people might mention it, right? More people are probably, especially if you get into like the LARPing scene, or especially, the reenactment scenes, right? All the reenactors, Band of Brothers. Like, European theater is way more popular. For sure, Band of Brothers. Oh, man. Like, I don't even... You know what? Just because of how popular it is, I'm gonna do either S or A. I think back then it used to be way more of an S, but I'll give it an A tier for now. Right? Because it's still fucking cool, right? The only downside is that it doesn't have as many memorable scenes compared to, say, like something like Saving Private Ryan, where you're talking, the actual beach landing scene, right? Obviously, they have the parachute over into France, right? That was a very big moment. Spread across several different episodes, but as a whole, yeah, like I would say it's definitely gotten a little bit less popular, a little bit less talked about, and I would say that if anything, Pacific right now is actually getting a little more traction than Band of Brothers. But again, still goated to this day. I don't know a single dude, especially Airsofter, that doesn't want to watch at least a few episodes of Band of Brothers back to back. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's pretty common for most Airsofters anyway. You know what I mean? So, moving on, right? I feel like I don't need to really talk about that one too much. Generation Kill. It's another series, micro series though. So very few episodes. You really could binge this in one day, which I have, and it's awesome. I freaking loved Generation Kill. Generation Kill. Because of how many memes have been, especially recently, I've been seeing, especially on TikTok of all places, I've been seeing a lot of memes coming out for Generation Kill, right? It's kind of got that second revival going right now. So I want to say it's an A tier. I'll say it's above Band of Brothers just because of how much more people reference that. And I know exactly why. Right now, the GWAT sort of era is very much in. Retro is in right now. A few years ago, it was the, like 90s, maybe even the 80s a little bit. But especially that 90s sort of aesthetic, right? Carry handle gang for life, baby. Car 15s for days. But, we're kind of entering into that sort of maybe slightly older period. Maybe not quite early 2000s yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. The GWAT is still very much felt. All right? We're very much getting into that sort of era where we're seeing hella woodland, body armor on top of a tricolor desert, BDUs and shit, right? Pazgit helmets galore. M16s, baby. M16 A2s all around, right? Maybe barely starting to get into A3s a little bit later, but we're still in that time period, right? And now the song that now everyone sings is Wheatus, Teenage Dirtbag, 'cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag, baby, right? Like, that's a meme now. It's a meme now, right? Everyone sings it. Everyone knows it. Right, so that's gotta be at the very least A tier right now, especially right now, for sure it's an A tier. Like, again, if you haven't seen Generation Kill, if you haven't seen it yet, get Max, download Max, watch it. I promise you it's worth it. There are some really, really dope action scenes in there as well. So many memorable lines and quotes and really good characters. From what I was talking with some of my former Marine buddies, they would tell me that, like, oh yeah, that shit like really fucking hit home for how accurately they got it. You know what? Fair. That's valid. If anything, that just 100% kind of like validated it for me. Just got an Elite Force MP5 A4 Creekside Airsoft. Hey, nice. Love the MP5. Believe me, the man Operation Red Sea is great and different perspective basic. I think I did see that one. That was all right. I don't think Pacific is even close to Band of Brothers, and I still love the Pacific. Yeah, I hear saying everyone's gonna have that opinion in terms of like which one they like more, whether it be Band of Brothers or the Pacific. Band of Brothers was awesome. Don't get me wrong, it was awesome. The action sequence alone, right? They're super intense, super well done, very well paced, and it has a lot of really good characters. I just think it has more cheese, a little bit more cheesiness to it. and more that sort of feel good, sort of brotherly sort of camaraderie that you see more so in that than you see the Pacific. The Pacific, it gets really dark. Don't get me wrong, Band of Brothers has some dark scenes as well, and people do die. They do die a lot in Band of Brothers, right? Especially when we go into the Operation, like, what is it, Operation Marketplace? Is that what it's called? Yeah, Operation Marketplace. When we get into that sort of era, yeah, you see characters dying very quickly, right? But I just think the Pacific just overall was a darker, grittier story, in my opinion. Had less of the Hollywood sort of, feel-good camaraderie ship, right, type stuff that you see in a lot of World War II, or just war movies in general. A few movies are guilty of that. I mean, it's not exclusively them, but I think the Pacific just has a lot less of that, and really, really feels fucking raw when it tells its story, you know? But again, that's just a personal opinion type beat. All right, next up. This one's going to be probably the most random thing that I could have put on here. Right? Market guarding. There we go. But Clone Wars, man. Clone Wars. Right? Clone Wars. At the offset, you'd be like, what the hell? Like, what is this kids show doing here, right? For all my Star Wars nerds out there, you guys know how dark this shit can get. That shit came out of left field, too, right? At one moment, we'll have an episode about, like, Jar Jar Binks stuff doing some crazy hijinks, and then some next moments, we'll get full-on arcs that feel like an actual feature-length movie, right? Darkness on Umbara arc? Come on, dude. You cannot watch it and tell me that is not peak fucking cinema. Dude, like, that shit's crazy. The final season, right, Clone Wars, the Siege of Mandalore, was insane, right? And to this day, and so many memes, obviously, first and foremost, so many memes come from Clone Wars, right? I love how in the Star Wars universe, like, their version of, like, the N-word is basically, for droids, right? Clanker, right? With a hard R. Clanker, you know what I mean? I grew up with this show, right, watching it, and it was a whole anthology of war stories, is what it felt like, really. You know what I mean? It really did feel like a whole, like, anthology of, like, these accounts of different, like, parts of the war. Whether it be aerial combat, whether it be Jedi v Jedi, or it just be straight up like a whole invasion, right? The second invasion of fucking Geonosis, dude, that shit got crazy. Dude, that shit was insane. It was nuts, right? Seeing all that happen, like, it was so fucking epic. That's the best. I know it's such an overused word from, like, from the early to mid 2000s, but epic is just the best way to describe it, man. Like, it was so fucking cool, right? To the point where people still talk about Clone Wars to this day. People are still quoting shit from the series on the Airsoft fields, right? We're still making jokes about it. We're still talking about it in memes. We're still talking about how great this show is. Years after it's been over, right? It was so popular in so many outlets of media and in day-to-day life. Oh, excuse me. That they had to finish, because the series got canceled. The series was canceled. They canceled an entire season early. And they had more episodes. But it was so in demand and so popular that they decided to give the fans what they wanted and bring back the show for one final season to give it the conclusion that they had been planning for it. To reanimate it, redo it and everything, so that way, and re-release it to the public to see. I was there when it, the day that it premiered, dude. I watched all of it. Jazz and I watched all of it because I got her into it, and she's not a big war movie person. This got her into the sort of war movie vibe, right? Because she was able to watch some of these arcs. I'm not even joking. It felt like we just watched, like we were eating popcorn, watching a whole ass movie, happening in front of us, right? And yeah, that's right. Still waiting for an Airsoft company to make a DC-15. There are so many Star Wars blasters that people want, in Airsoft, and that people, if you go into like the 3D print side of things or like the custom shop side of things, for the AAP01, there's going to be plenty of Star Wars blaster kits that are available for it, right? A lot of them were only seen in Clone Wars 2, mind you. So I'm just saying, right? There's a reason why it belongs on there. It's because it's basically a collection of movies, right? So that has to, at least in my opinion, stay in A. I'd be willing to go B, but I'm going to stick in A because of just how often people talk about it or people mention it, in the airsofting space, right? It's there. It's for sure there. Now the next one. This one's going to hit a bit of a niche as well. This is going to be Dawn of the Dead. If you remember this movie. Now, this is going to be my go-to for a lot of, like, when I think of, okay, Airsofter really is big into the zombie thing, right? The zombie game modes. It's because of movies like Day of the Dead. And I would say that's definitely got to be one of the biggest. This, and I would say the Left 4 Dead game series really made zombie media, like, it came out during that time and during the zombie explosion, right? The mid to late 2000s and even a little bit in the early 2010s were very much, dominated by the zombie craze. Very much dominated by the zombie craze, right? I like, there's whole game modes have come out, themed around zombies, right? All of it, and that's all in due part thanks to movies like Dawn of the Dead. Right, and this one, I think, if you ask Cisco, oh, dude, this is goated. It is absolutely fucking goated with the sauce, man. Like, the whole scenario of holding up in a mall, right? Obviously, this is a 2004 one that I'm going to talk about, which is supposed to be, obviously, a remake of the original, 1970-something? Forget the actual release date of the original movie from, like, the 70s when it came out. Excellent standalone movie by itself. It's great, right? I have, like, no issues about it. It's a fucking great movie, man. Gunplay is cool, right? Characters are interesting. It's a really, really good set piece too, having it in a mall and then trying to escape it as well, right? Using a battle bus essentially outfitted for trying to survive the zombie hordes that lie outside. Like, it's great, man. I have no complaints about Dawn of the Dead. And I do think that if without this movie and without games like Left 4 Dead, there was a massive, a wave of zombie airsoft games as well that became really popular online and that are still played to this day, at places like Blackhawk, because of movies like this, right? I think that movies like this really, really helped generate that whole wave of, like, airsofters that really wanted to get into, like, zombies. I've done several zombie game modes, because I was really big into the zombie thing as well. I was huge into it. Me and my buddy Nick were always into that shit. Resident Evil, games wise, yes. Maybe the first two movies. If I have time, I might talk about them. But those are. You know what I gotta say? Even though they're not good, I do like the first two Resident Evil movies. The rest are ass, bro. In my opinion, I fucking hate those movies, dude. The first two are, like, at least fun. You know what I mean? The other ones are just like, oh, what the fuck is this shit? All right, but I'm gonna leave it in B tier. Jarhead has, like, no real action scenes. It's cool because of the vibes, but there's no legit action sequences. The one time you think they're actually going to engage somebody, guess what happens? They call in an airstrike instead. Or no, at the very end when they're like, I didn't even get to shoot my weapon once. They start shooting in the air. That's more of a character-driven type thing. That's more of a character-driven type story. All right, moving on. Because I know this one I got a lot of requests for, and they're right. I should talk about it. We Were Soldiers, right? We Were Soldiers. I feel like out of everything here, though, is definitely not the most quoted. I definitely know it's not the most quoted. I know it's not the most talked about in the space compared to every other Vietnam movie that's out there. But I still really enjoy We Were Soldiers quite a bit. It's still a really, really good movie. I think it does have a lot of faults, specifically with... Bless you. Jess sneezed. Specifically with kind of feeling a little bit cheesy. Whenever they cut back to the scenes where they were back home, right, with all the wives and everything, I do feel like those scenes, I feel like they were a little cheesy. You know what I mean? I feel like they were a little campy, right? I don't know. I feel like I want to put it here, right? Like, if I had to put it, I want to put it, is it more or less than, I'm going to say I want to put it here. I want to put it right behind Full Metal Jacket. That's where I want to put it, right? I really, really want to put it right here. You know what? I'm going to put it right here. All right, Scott, let's see what you have to say about it. We Were Soldiers is S tier. That scene where the platoon is cut off and then hide under dead bodies and shoot the enemy as they walk over them had my heart pounding. Then the charge up the hill. No, that's true. It has... the action scenes are fucking fire. They're fire. But let's be real, man. There were some cheesy scenes in there as well that were quite... It just felt romanticized a little bit. I don't know. Everything else, action-wise, fucking awesome. Mel Gibson does a really good... I love how that scene where he's trying to talk to some of his boys and he gets shot, like his flashlight gets shot out, like what the fuck, grabs his gun and then just starts shooting back. That shit was hilarious. I don't know why, that shit is so funny. I have seen that they had to piss on the motors to cool them down since they were shooting shells like crazy. That hit like, damn, those guys went through it. They did. Yeah, no, absolutely they did. So I think, you know what, it deserves its place in A. It may not be the most talked about, but I definitely think it adds to the Vietnam portfolio, right, of things that you could watch that, man, I want to put together a Vietnam kit, you know what I mean? Like, you want to do an air cav kit, you know, you look at that shit. For me, I've always been more of a MACV-SOG type of guy, of course, right? You know, I love the Tiger Stripe. I love the Tiger Stripe. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, dude, when they had to rip his skin off. Oh, dude, that shit was nasty, bro. Oh, that's terrible, bro. That freaking sucks. I hated that scene with the freaking napalm. Oh, dude, no. That scene, like that. Okay, that one. You're right. That cements it there. That cements it there. A tier, yeah, I'll take A tier. I think that's because I would not say that that's not in the same realm as, say, Blackhawk Down or Saving Private Ryan. That's, I mean, I gotta be careful when I select my S tiers. I gotta be selective about that. Now, the next one, American Sniper. Here's the thing. I've heard mixed things, you know, about it being maybe not 100% accurate or not depicting certain things right. As a film, I think it's either A or B. B, bare minimum. If it was B, it would be at the top of B. But I think it is going to be around A tier. As far as where specifically, I'll say above Platoon, right behind We Were Soldiers. I'll say that's a good spot for it. I think that's a good spot for it. There's a lot of A tiers though. That's like the number one thing here. A tier stuff. I love the movie. All right, again, that's peak GWAT vibes, baby. Peak GWAT vibes, right? You got some tri-colored desert. You got the RRV with the chest plate taken off, so you just left with the rig, right? Some simple slick body armor underneath, right? You got an M110 or you got like just a regular M4. You got a Mark 18 specifically, the Mod 0, right? Like Mitch 2000 helmets. Like, oh, dude, vibes are immaculate. The gear in this, oh, dude, absolutely, right? Like, it's good. It's good. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen a lot of people want to get back into like the old GWAT kits because of this movie, right? And a few others as well. But this one was a big one. This one was a big one for getting people back into like the GWAT era, right? Especially those old school style like SEAL kits. Like, it's just dope, man. It's just dope. Like, I don't know what else to say. You know. I was holding my breath while waiting to see where you placed that. I liked it. I genuinely, again, that's one of those movies again that if I see that it's on somewhere, I want to watch it. If I have nothing else to watch, like, that's a movie that I'm like, oh, cool, I'll watch that. Right? It's good, man. It's good. Yeah, dude. That, again, that's the whole scene of him having to, you know, like having to kill, you know, the kid with mother and child, right? Because they were carrying that RPG, right? Like that shit. Like, oh, the one that gets me is the one where he doesn't have to shoot. It's where he takes out this dude, right? And he sees this kid. Is it an RPG or is it an AK? I forget which one he had. He has one and he's about to shoot it, right? And he's just like, don't make me fucking do it. Please don't make me do it. And then when he drops it and he runs away and doesn't do anything with it, he like, ugh, like he just, like that tension just drops. He's like, thank fucking God I didn't have to kill this kid, man. Like, damn, dude. Fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that shit was nuts. No Bridge Too Far. Such a good World War II as well. Are we forgetting Navy SEALs? Dark Tree, you are the only reason I don't have that on here is because nobody else knows what the fuck I'm talking about whenever I talk about that movie. Right? 1991 Navy SEALs, dude. I love that movie. It's so cheesy, bro. Charlie Sheen and the Allstate guy, dude, absolutely. I love the scene when they're like doing the after action report. Did you grab everything? Yes, everything. Are you sure everything? He's like, everything but the onions. You know what I mean? I love that scene. Did you neutralize the hostiles? We vaporize hostiles. Dude, that shit was so... dude, Bill Paxton in there too. When I first saw the movie, I didn't know Bill Paxton was in that. So the fact that Bill Paxton was in that too, oh, my heart. I wish to this day, there's not a day that goes by that I don't regret not going to, what was it, the 30th anniversary? I forget which anniversary it was, when they did the Aliens anniversary at, I believe, at one of the Comic-Cons. And they had a lot of the cast members show up, and Bill Paxton was there. I really wanted him to sign my pulse rifle. I really wanted to meet him. That man has been in the Predator universe. That man's in the Aliens universe. That man is in Navy SEALs. You know what I mean? Twister, even, brother. Twister. Like, Bill Paxton is fucking awesome. I love Bill Paxton, dude. I love Bill Paxton. What's the GWAT movie with Steven Seagal? Oh, no! Oh, wait, no, okay. It might... I think there's like a few, if I'm not... I think there's like 2, if I remember. All right? Of course, you're the good. That's the only reason I don't have... Again, Dark, that's the only reason I don't have that movie here. Because nobody else knows what the fuck I'm talking about whenever I talk about that movie, right? And the old people that do are like, oh, dude, that movie was so cheesy. I'm like, what the fuck? It was awesome. The MP5 SD, bro, the fact they were using them shits like crazy, that was awesome. Dude, that was freaking awesome. Oh, Michael Biehn. Michael Biehn. The fucking legend that he is, man. Kyle Reese as a Navy SEAL, brother. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, I gotta stop glazing that movie. All right. Okay. Commando. Not talked about as much anymore. Don't know why. This movie's fucking legendary, right? You know the classic like action hero trope where he's shooting out in the open, right? He's shooting his guns, and it doesn't matter how many goons he's got like gunning him down. None of them can hit him. Right, all like 100 something bad guys cannot hit this one MFer, no matter how open and in the open he is, and how fucking massive Mr. Olympia is. Right, just standing there with freaking RPK. Right, it don't matter. They just keep shooting him. It doesn't matter. They keep shooting him. They're not gonna hit. But this guy, no matter where he aims, doesn't even have to aim down sights. All he has to do, underslung, and he hits everything. He's a fucking marksman. Even when he shoots underhanded, bro. Like, this is the, like, quintessential, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie. You know what I mean? This is the Arnie action movie stereotypical trope. Like, you are the action man. You're the main hero. You're going to go out there and you're going to kill every single one of them, man. Whoa, dude. At Commando, I'm going to put it in B tier. With that said, I'm going to put it in B tier. I'm going to put it in B tier just because it's not as talked about as often, right? It's nowhere near as talked about as often, but those that know, it's a if you know type beat, if you know what I mean. Yeah, he's been killed by an alien, a predator, and the Terminator. That's true, man. Twister, damn, I forgot how good the movie was living in the Midwest. It hits home because we get so many tornadoes out here every year. Dude, I was talking to Squirrely Nuts like about a year ago about that, about like tornadoes and shit. Dude, I get so... Like, there's a lot of natural phenomena, obviously, that occur on this planet, right? That are kind of scary. Earthquakes, though, not that afraid of, but again, they can be a little scary, especially if you're not used to them, right? Tornadoes? Fuck that, bro. Fuck all of that. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, a tsunami, the water pressure alone could like crush you. But I'm gonna be real. I look at a tsunami and I'm like, bro, I like swam competitively. I did water polo for years. Like, what? I gotta swim? You know what I mean? Like, you know, obviously there's more danger to it than just that, right? But I look at a tsunami, I look at a hurricane, I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the fuck. Like, I can swim, dog. I can swim. I can powerhouse this shit, right? Tornadoes? Fuck all that. Fuck that noise. No. I've heard way too many accounts of people's, like, someone, I think there was one like instance where someone was standing like not like super close, but close enough, obviously close enough to a twister where his skin was fucking ripped off his body. What the frick is that, man? People just getting sucked up, and then sometimes there's so much glass and debris around that it just shreds them to pieces like a blender. Like, what even is that, man? Hell no. Hell no. I don't fuck with tornadoes. No. D&D player. Hey, what's up, man? Good to have you here as well. The bullets curve around his aura. Yeah, Arnold was just aura farming in Commando. They couldn't hit him. He had a force field, man. He had a force field around him. The only thing scarier than tornadoes when my friend and I were in Florida on vacation when Hurricane Michael hit. Or was that Michelle? Yeah, Hurricane Michelle hit. We had to evacuate to Georgia and then it hit, but with us still capped through. Yeah, no, that was crazy, dude. That was absolutely nuts. Don't get me wrong. Tsunamis, hurricanes, they can still be scary, but me, because of my fucking fish brain, right, I'm thinking, nah, it's not too bad. I can swim through that, right? Obviously not, but that's just how I see it, right? All right, I'm going to skip this one because I literally just did it, and I accidentally added it twice. Okay, SWAT. Now, this is an oldie. 2003. 2003, my guy. It's got some cheese. It's got some camp. But it's still very fun to watch even to this day. And the kit is still a vibe. The kit is 100% still a vibe. That old school, LAPD SWAT era with the freaking old school body armor they had, with the navy blues, MP5s, and of course like your M4s as well. And then of course you got the shotties. It's good, man. It's good. They actually use. I remember seeing like Kimber 1911s on there too, which was actually really tight. I actually really like the Kimbers they used on that one. That one was actually really, really fun. I would say it's probably behind. I would say, I'll say it's above. Come on. I'll say it's above, right over Commando. Just because, again, it does have a little bit more vibes that people like nowadays in terms of, like, the kit and the gear and such, right? There are still a lot of people that really do love their cop loadouts. There's still a lot of people that love like the SWAT loadout. For a while in the early to mid 2000s, there was so many dudes that were doing like SWAT loadouts, like some form of like law enforcement or anti-terrorist group. A lot of them were still using that era of kit, because it was still really cool and at the time very easy. Now it's a lot harder. I had to go to Japan for that specific body armor. I had to go to Japan for that, right? To get that one. You could probably still find it maybe in a few surplus stores or here and there, maybe at like old cop shops, right, that they have. If you know a guy that can get you one, sure. But man, that was hard to get. Like that's actually really hard to find now, and I actually do have it. It's for very specific kits that I'm building. Very, very specific one. Isaias, don't come to the Midwest in the summertime, and you should be good. The tornadoes on the tornado front, bro. Yeah, I am never going out to the Midwest anytime during the summer. I'm only going during the winter because at least it's snowy and it's nice and chill. I prefer OG 1911 to the Kimber, but it's for nostalgia. Yeah, no, for sure. I like the old school ones too, but the Kimber ones are cool. I've always liked the way Kimber 1911s looked. I like the ones that they used in the movie. They were solid. They were really, really cool. Yeah, no, actually not cross-draw vests, DJ, not cross. The people did use a lot of cross-draw vests, but in the movie SWAT, they actually didn't use those. Oh my god, what the fuck was the name? It was a body armor like unit that I believe Point Blank, the company, if you guys know that company, Point Blank had actually developed, and I think there was a few others that made it as well, but Point Blank was one of the originals that they had. I actually have it somewhere here in my house. I think yeah, it's in my closet somewhere. But they actually don't make that style anymore. Very similar, but it actually was a bit more modular than the cross-draw vest where it already had the shit pre-sewn onto it. Yeah, very, very different. Very different. But I can see where you're going from. It does scream that same time period for sure. Okay. Last one that I'm going to talk about. Maybe. I might add two more. Guys, it is about 9 o'clock. You guys got 30 minutes before we close out tonight's live stream. Make sure to go and get your orders in before. So remember, any $20 or greater order and you're automatically entered into the live stream giveaway. I'm gonna leave a link to the rules themselves on the live chat for everyone to go and check out. Any $20 or greater order and you're in. But right now, every $50 you spend gets you 2 entries, so don't miss out. You really want to make sure that you get those orders in, and remember to spread the word as much as possible. Spread the word as much as possible. All right. Ah, crap. There we go. Next one we're gonna be talking about is something that actually is near and dear to my heart. Very near and dear to my heart. And thank you for whoever actually brought it up as something that I needed to talk about, because you're right. This is actually something that is genuinely need to be talked about. And actually is still referenced even to this day. One second. Just got a text. Okay. There we go. All right. The next one that I'm referring to is, of course, going to be 13 hours. Now, for me, 13 hours, I consider that an S tier. I know it's not maybe it's not. You know, maybe it's more closer to here. But I personally want to give it an S tier. I'm gonna put it down here for the time being. Right? I'm gonna put it down here, just because. Again, it's. I don't want to say it has the same cultural impact, obviously, as Saving Private Ryan. That'd be stupid for me to say, right? Blackhawk Down as well. I feel like that's just peak, right? But I will say that I do believe that at the near the top of A tier should be 13 hours. There are game scenarios that are based around the defend the embassy, right? There are, again, that was another thing that kind of brought back kind of a call to like classic gear, and it's actually very easy to do. Thank you. Very easy to recreate kits like this because you see what they're wearing. They're just, this is the contractor look, maybe. That's the contractor look, you know, just wearing whatever clothes, regular civilian clothes that you got, and then putting on a plate gear on top, putting on gear on top. You know, that is quintessential casual airsoft loadout right there, right? Very easy to recreate. The guns themselves were not hard to build, right? Considering they're just using regular ass M4A1s, right, with whatever accessories they had. You had like one 240, which was freaking sick to see. I love seeing that 240 on screen. 249 as well, right? Like, again, these were all guns that were, fairly easy to get by. You know, nothing was super crazy rare or obscure to see there, right? But I think in terms of quote, there's a lot of funny stuff that was coming out of it. I remember there was a lot of memes specifically, you know, the Office memes, because this is like John Krasinski's like first time like actually doing, like, I believe that this is his first time doing like a more serious action based film, right? And that really put him on the map for that sort of role. And good for him, man. Like, it was good for him to branch out from like his performance from The Office, which again, him as Jim is like fucking hilarious, right? But there's a lot of memes because of that. There's still a lot of quotes that are coming from this as well. I just think it's solid, man. I think it's absolutely solid. The fact that even a few years later, right, they'll do an entire mission on the 2019 remake of Modern Warfare, where the whole thing is, hey, defend the embassy. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me that shit didn't make an impact if Call of Duty's out here trying to go ahead and recreate like similar scenarios to you know what I mean? Yeah, this was like freaking awesome. I even in the Milsom and West event, I've told this story plenty of times, where I had a 13-hour scenario happen to me and my team when we're defending NATO-aligned politicians from an entire town for hours in this firefight, just waiting for it to end, right? Literally using anything and everything we had to try to defend this building, right? This embassy and our president, right? So much so that even who was a cadre, by the way, comes out to us and says, dude, this was the most, like, this felt like it came out of a movie. Even though we technically lost due to attrition, obviously, we spent too many hours there. They're just like, all right, we got to move on. We're going to be here all day. So they moved on. He literally told us, like, I don't care what they say, other cadre says, you guys were the fucking best security I've ever had. Ever. This was like the best experience that I've ever had at a Milsom West event. This was super awesome. You guys were great. If I ever need another private security force, you guys are gonna be the first guy that I'm gonna ask. And we're like, yes, dude. I was so happy that we got in good with the cadre like that, bro. It was just such a good experience. Like, this movie, awesome. I fucking love this movie. Not only is it a great movie, not only does it have a great performance, not only is it jam packed with action, right? The whole situation take like almost like half the movie at this point is just all action, you know? It's like all action at that point, and it's so freaking good, dude. It's so amazing. I love that one as well. Oh man, looking back at this list, man, there's quite a few movies that are. Let me know in the chat too. Let me know in the chat what you guys think was, or what was the movie that kind of got you into airsoft, or you saw, you're like, man, I want to do this in airsoft, right? What is that special connection to airsoft movie or film that you guys have? I'm actually very curious to hear what you guys have to say about it. Because for me, there's, again, I love movies, right? I didn't, it's gonna sound really sad. At first, in middle school especially, I didn't have many friends, right? So for me, it was a lot of flipping through the TV or going to Blockbuster and then trying to rent as many movies as I possibly could. And I really got big into the action scene, right? I loved action movies. I loved action TV shows like this, right? War stuff. It was just awesome, right? It was absolutely awesome. And there's still more that I'm discovering to this day, right? Stuff that came before my time, stuff that is cemented in like meme history, or that is really referenced in either the 2A community, the firearms world, airsofting world, right? Video game world. Like there's a lot of stuff that I think we can like overall look at and talk about a lot of stuff that inspired us. But for me, man, all this stuff like really got me into it, you know? I don't know, man. Like I'm looking back, I'm like kind of getting nostalgic. You know what I mean? Just looking back, I was like, damn, I remember being like 13 years old watching this movie. I remember being 10 years old watching this. I remember watching this when this came out. I remember staying up late on AMC to try to catch this movie when it came out. Like Die Hard is like such a big one for me. Oh man, that's good. Bruce Willis gives everyone the greatest Christmas gift of all time. Life. No, absolutely. High risk modular vest by Point Blank or Pantac. LA SWAT used to use. No, yeah. You know exactly the one I'm talking about, DJ. The one where it actually had like the ballistic collar as well. I have that one. I have the. Oh my God, who was it that made it? I had like one of the replicas that was carried, but they only had it in Japan, man. They only had it in Japan. I was like, fuck, I have to, pay international shipping. That shit was expensive. But I have it, thank God, right? It's still there, and I'm grateful for it. I do have one. Anyone seen Hotel Rwanda? Dude, yes, it is. It's not very much an action movie, but the action that they do have is very good. It is very, very good. Stargate 2. Stargate, I'm not going to lie. There's a few things about it that are, like, really, really cheesy, and kind of silly. But still, like, I still had fun with that movie. The MP5s, again, was really cool to see. We need Achilles Herx, Guns of Navarro, Fury, Die Hard, Hacksaw Ridge, I Will Die on This Hill, Traxxas. Okay. I would say out of all these, I mean, Die Hard is on here. Hacksaw Ridge, I mean, the whole point of Hacksaw Ridge, though, was for it not to be, him to be like, again, like, there's not really like a war story. It's more so a religious story. And again, it's his personal experience that he had. And I don't know. I feel weird putting it on there. I don't know why. Maybe because, again, he is a pacifist and he is intentionally trying not to shoot anybody. You know what I mean? Maybe that's the whole reason why I kind of didn't really. It fits into a different category. Even though I know it is technically speaking a war movie for sure about his account. For some reason, it just feels like it's in a different category all on its own. You know what I mean? Okay, keep scrolling up. Oh, I know it's stupid, but I never understood why Die Hard is considered a Christmas movie. Can someone enlighten me? Yeah, it literally that's like the main reason why. It's mostly just because it happens, during Christmas, like literally during Christmas, which is pretty funny. It's like even the second one too. It's like the same shit too. It's like it happens like right around Christmas as well. But yeah, the first one is a 100% a certified Christmas movie because it literally does happen on Christmas. And the whole point of the movie is for him to reunite with family, right? Which isn't that what Christmas is all about? To be able to just be with your loved ones, right? In celebration of the holiday. That's what it's all about. That's what it all comes down to, man. Make sure I'm missing anything. Susan's that one as well. What about Fury? Fury, okay. I just don't see Fury being talked about as often. You know what I mean? If I had to put Fury, right? If I had to put Fury on here, for me, Fury, I think as a movie on its own, that's an A or an S tier. That's an easy A, possibly an S tier. I'm gonna stick maybe with an A tier. All right, S tier I think is generally reserved for movies that really change, like really change and put a shift in either pop culture. They leave their stamp in history as like, okay, this is gonna be like the, you know what I mean? Like if I feel like if Fury were to be there, Fury would have to be like the greatest World War II movie. And I'm gonna be real, I think the most influential is gonna be Saving Private Ryan, which is why again it's, you know what I mean? Like it's at the top of the list. It's S tier, top of S tier. You know what I mean? Even if it's not your favorite movie, you can understand the cultural impact that it had. You know what I mean? Like that is there for a reason. I feel like all of these are very much have to be like, okay, these are cemented in history for the rest of time. You know what I mean? For me personally, I think maybe if anything, maybe Sicario could be bumped down just one more. But you know what I mean? Like I'll keep it there just because, again, just seeing in the airsoft scene specifically how often it's referenced, how many airsoft events come out specifically themed and styled very much after the world that Sicario paints, right? Like, you know, there's a reason for it, right? But I love Fury as its own movie. I think it's awesome. I would personally put it in A tier. I'd put it in A tier, probably right after. I'd probably put it right before Red Dawn, right after 13 Hours. That's where I'd put it. No, I should probably put it lower, but it's still an A tier. It would still be an A tier. Make sure there's anything. Okay, keeps going up. Okay, answer that one as well. It's that one as well. Yeah, SWAT is just nostalgic to watch as well. Yeah, no, it absolutely is. Dude, Samuel L. Jackson is just a joy to watch in that movie, for sure. Same thing with LL Cool J, bro. LL Cool J, dude, hilarious. I absolutely love his role. He's just so funny in that movie for some reason. He's just so fucking, like, he just does not, like, it's funny because he's just such a standout character for some reason. You know what I mean? Like, every movie, especially back in the day, even Tropic Thunder did that whole spoof, right, where you always get that one celebrity. Usually it's some, like, it's either some rapper or some hip-hop artist, right, that's, like, trying to turn over into, like, acting, right, and try his hand on everything. So they'll usually have one in, like, one of these, like, major roles. So it's kind of funny to see that they did the same thing. LL Cool J, right, is literally there at, like, acting in this role, right, as a SWAT officer. It's just so funny to me. I don't know why. He's so hilarious to watch in that. Although I do think his best movie that he's ever done for him personally, just as his own character, would have to be what's the name of that movie? What's the name of that shark movie? Was it Deep Blue? Deep Blue Sea. Yeah, Deep Blue Sea, baby. When he played the chef, dude, that shit was hilarious. Deep Blue Sea, I love that movie, dude. That movie was scary. When I was a kid, that movie scared the shit out of me, bro. That giant ass mako shark was terrifying to look at. It was huge, right? The fact that it carried bit LL Cool J and dragged him all across the pool, dude. That bloody scene was, oh, dude, it sent shivers down my spine. It ate Samuel L. Jackson. It ate him. Him and another shark split him in half. What the fuck? That movie, dude, that movie lives rent-free in my mind, dude. That's also another nostalgic, fun, scary movie to watch, you know? Sure. Master of the Air, I haven't seen yet. I do want to watch. That is on my watch list as well, though. Okay, so should be caught up on all those. Guys, you got 17 more minutes left. Get those entries in before it's too late. Any $20 greater order, and you're entered into this Thursday's giveaway, so don't miss out. Yeah, I feel like my friend and I are going to make our own field because the state we live in doesn't have much for fields. My friend's got a bunch of land, so we're going to build CQB and outdoors. Hey, LGC, that's what's up. Entrepreneurs in the airsoft scene, I love to see it. Here's the thing. It may start off small, but if you keep at it and you dedicate to it, there is a chance that, you know, that you can make a successful business out of it and really do the community a huge favor by offering a legitimate field that people can go and play at, right? Because that can be a hub for a lot of places. That don't have a ton of airsoft shops or a ton of airsoft fields. Any and all fields that they can get is going to be a hub for the community, you know. Still haven't heard the whole thing. Says, you know what's up? My box from last month. It's been 225. I haven't heard from that one on that one. Yes, that one I personally still need to go ahead and build. That was around the time that we were trying to go ahead and get everything up and running for BB Wars. We got that one done. I'm working on getting everything caught up on everything. I actually had to build a few older mystery boxes as well. VJ, you weren't the only one. I had to go ahead and build a few older ones as well, and I sent those out. So I should be able to go ahead and build yours as well. I literally just haven't had the time to go ahead and do it, but you are gonna be getting your box as well. I have not forgotten. I actually do have yours written down on my sticky notes on my computer. See, Under Siege, Navy SEALs, On Death Ground, Marked for Death, and Desperado. Just some of my faves that didn't make the cut. Yeah, I can see it. I still haven't seen Marked for Death yet. Not yet. Guys seen Battle Los Angeles? Okay, LGC. Battle Los Angeles? It's not very quoted, right? There's not like a lot of stuff that I see often mentioned about that movie anymore. It kind of fell into like obscurity. I do enjoy the movie, but I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be 100% real right now. I went to go see the movie with my dad, right? And that movie was still really fun. That 100% is a recruitment movie. That is Like, I wouldn't. Okay, I would believe 100% if it said paid for, proudly paid for by the U.S. Marines. That felt like a recruitment movie. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is. That felt like, oh man, they really need to make those numbers. I kept thinking the whole time, like, man, this movie's really fun, but I can't help but think that this is a recruitment film. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just kind of gave that vibes for some reason. Like, it was cool seeing the mid 2000s and like early 2010s kit. For the Marine Corps. That was still really, really fun to see, right? At the time, the modern kits coming to life, right? A modern military versus an alien force, right? That was cool. That was actually really, really sick to see when they're fighting up the land sharks, they call them. It was a very fun movie, but I just don't really see anybody talking about it, like, at all. You know what I mean? Like, at all. Like, it's a fair, again, I like the movie. I enjoy it. And if it's on, if I see it somewhere, I'm going to watch it because it's a fun movie, right? It's a fun, cool action movie. But damn, brother, that shit felt like a recruitment video. You know what I mean? Like, that shit, like, oh, dude, that shit was, fucking crazy. Dusk Till Dawn. Dude, Dusk Till Dawn is so funny. Dude, I don't know if that really would fit here. I don't really see many people mentioning it. But that one's a fun. Don't get me wrong. Dude, that movie's so fucking weird. That movie's so weird. It is funny though, and it is full of some really good action sequences as well. Absolutely, definitely recruitment promotional, probably paid for by the USMC. Dude, yeah, that movie was, again, loved watching it in a movie. Loved watching it in theaters, right? And I watched it, and I think I owned it somewhere at some point. I think it got stolen though. But yeah, man, it was. That was 100% a recruitment movie. Like, ain't no question about it, dude. Let's see here for the lake. I couldn't swim comfortably for a while when I first watched it. Dude, DJ, it's fucking same, man. Like, that shit was terrifying. Like, are you kidding me? Like, dude, again, it's the scene where they rip Samuel. He's out of the water. He's out of the water. The shark gets out of the pool, grabs him from out of the water, and then pulls him back. And then when he's in the water, another shark comes and rips his legs off. They split that man in half like he's a pizza and just ripped them apart, you know? Oh, dude. No, bro. No. I love that movie, and I love the vibes. And LL Cool J was fucking awesome in that movie. I love that he just 1v1s a shark. That shit was hilarious. All because the shark ate his fucking bird. It ate his parrot. You ate my bird. And then he lights him on fire, dude. Oh, love that scene, dude. I love that scene. Or no, as soon as they kill the big bad shark at the very end, him and the main actor, right, they're like just lying down like all exhausted, right, waiting for the rescue boat. He's like, oh, take me back to the ghetto, bro. And I'm like, oh, dude, come on. That's such a cheesy ass line. Dude, and then of course he does the ending song as well, the end credit song. Oh, dude, that movie was cheesy as fuck, but also very scary, and I would love to go and watch that movie again. Shout out to the movie Overlord. I know it's not a great Airsoft reference movie, but it was still dope. No, absolutely, it was funny. That movie was supposed to be another Cloverfield entry. Supposed to be another Cloverfield movie before they changed it last minute. Random Airsoft question: is it bad to leave your mid-cap mags fully loaded? Yes. Yes, it is. You want to make sure that your mid-cap mags are completely emptied out by the time you are done playing for the day. The reason why is because the spring tension will wear down if you leave the mags fully loaded, especially overnight or for over periods of time. Yeah, no, oh man, my nose. It's like almost like, think of it like you're putting a giant weight on your mattress. It's gonna wear down the springs much faster, especially the longer you leave it there. You know what I mean? So you definitely want to keep that spring tension in place. So don't leave mags in overnight or anything. All right, scrolling down. The Tomorrow War was also really fun in the same. Which one was the Tomorrow War? Which one was that one? I don't think I remember that one, or maybe I blocked it out of my memory. I was going to mention it, but never did. Dusk Till Dawn, gotta love it. Oh my god, we did Airsoft replica like the Cholo with the PV. Oh god, yeah, that was that was a thing. That was a thing. Yes, what the Brewer? What is where? No. How crap? How do I get the views? There's at the top of the feed lips. there's usually a little like lever that holds the BBs in place. Like the BBs are here. There's like a little like tab that keeps the BBs from coming out. You pull on the top this little switch, and the BBs should all shoot out. It'll come out all at once though, so just be careful. Phrasing. Anyway, Bad Boys. That's true. If I had more time, I'd be putting Bad Boys 2 up in here as well. Same thing with Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3. I 100% would be putting that there as well. I guess I can quickly talk about it. Rush Hour. Here's the thing. That's got to be like top tier for both Cisco and I. We both love Rush Hour, making references to that 1, 2, and 3. For me, Rush Hour would have to be, because it's not really talked about as often, I'd have to be B. I'd probably put it in B tier, probably above. I'd probably put it above SWAT, but right after Dawn of the Dead. Now, Bad Boys 1. Bad Boys 1 is there aren't as many shootout scenes. It's still like very fun, full of action, but it's not as action-packed as the second one. Bad Boys 1 would probably be C tier. Bad Boys 2, not as good of a movie dialogue-wise, but it's just watching it as a dumb action movie, buddy cop movie, that is gotta be a low A tier. Low A tier, high B tier, I think, for me personally, because the gunplay is sick, the action scenes are awesome, like it's, and it makes sense why when you realize, Michael Bay worked on this one. That makes total sense. Jerry Bruckheimer did the first one, which, makes sense. That one's fine. That one's all good and dandy. A little more subdued than some of the other ones, but man, the Michael Bay one, like, it's so obvious too. I remember even watching it without even realizing it and be like, what, did Michael Bay take over this? And then I saw it worked out by Michael Bay, and I was like, yeah, no, that makes 100% sense. I was just guessing. Thank you. Going to release them right now. Thanks for that information. Zombieland. Ooh, Zombieland. That's right. Again, was very popular at the time, but just don't really see it being referenced as often. If I had to put it somewhere, it would be probably B tier, probably lower B tier. Definitely above SWAT, and I'd put it right behind Dawn of the Dead as well. Zombieland was just a fun movie. It was a really, really fun movie. But again, just not very quoted anymore. Just not quoted very often. It very much felt like a product of its time. Remember, there was that huge zombie phase that we went through where everyone had zombie fever. All movies were coming out. They were doing remakes of movies with a zombie twist to them, if you remember that time period as well. But very much a product of its time. Not very much talked about, or at least not as fondly anymore. It's still a great movie. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I love all the different rules for surviving zombie apocalypse. I love those scenes, right? Cardio, make sure, check the bathroom stalls, right? I love all that shit. I love all them. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Oh, dude, I love Rush Hour. Rush Hour is so freaking awesome. You said bomb. I said she was the bomb. Nice. Equalizer has some awesome guns. That's true though. I just don't see too many people talking about the Equalizer as often. I feel like they should. Equalizer was really good. Denzel, my man. Denzel is fucking amazing. Kick-Ass was also really, really good too. Not as, again, the main shootout sequences were really, really dope, but again, I just feel like a lot of these titles that we really like have just kind of fallen into obscurity, unfortunately. That's kind of the downside about all this. Sucker Punch, still cool as well. Takers, also really, really cool. Again, just not as talked about as I think they should, or maybe they just got lost to time. You know what I mean? I think that's an unfortunate reality of a lot of these stuff that a lot of these movies have kind of felt, is that they just kind of felt onto the wayside for like other properties, whatever was popular at the time. This motherfucking shark in the motherfucking tank. Dude, Samuel L. Jackson is still the GOAT. The GOAT. Tomorrow, where they find people in the past to fight those creatures in the future. Lol. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, with the freak. Yeah. Tomorrow. Fuck. With Chris Pratt. I forgot about that movie. Interesting concept. It was fun, but I don't know if I would consider it like super influential in the Airsoft sphere. You know what I mean? Again, I could be wrong, but as far as I can tell, Tomorrow War felt like it was another one of those movies that was really propped up, had a lot of hype behind it, but ultimately ended up just like disappearing into obscurity as well. You know what I mean? As soon as it was over, it was like, okay, they talked about it a little bit, and it disappeared. It went away. You know, it felt like they were also trying to maybe set it up for like a whole universe type deal, but just never fell through. I don't know. That's kind of the vibes that I got from it. It was a cool concept though. Very interesting concept. But honestly, not my personal favorite. I also think that Chris Pratt was just, I don't know, like I don't hate Chris Pratt, but I just feel like that he's overcast a lot. Like, he's got a great agent. Whoever he has booking him these roles, good on him. You know, but damn, like, this motherfucker keeps showing up everywhere. You know, like, everywhere. Let's see, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Okay, that one, even though it is a comedy, and a little bit of a rom-com, too, it's still a really good movie. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, again, not talked about as much, but I do think it is a classic, in my opinion. I would be putting that at, like, low A. I'd be putting that at low A for sure. Tomb Raider? Ain't... Dude! With Angelina Jolie? Here's the thing, man. Tomb Raider? Ain't nobody talking about Tomb Raider on the Airsoft field, bro. Ain't nobody talking about... The only people that I know that talk about it are, like, collectors. And it's only because, okay, they want her... What was it? The USPs that she used? Yeah, the USPs that she had in the movie. That's, like, the only reason why people even mention it. Yeah, Tomb Raider, yeah. Like, again, I think in terms of casting, yes, that was perfect, right? Like, if anyone was going to do it, I think that is a perfect cast for, like, Lara Croft, right, as the Tomb Raider. I think that is a really, really good pick. Man, those movies were, like, I don't know. I feel like they could have been done better, right? They didn't have to be as cheesy. But, again, they were trying to go for a very specific vibe, so I get it. Ain't nobody on the Airsoft field talking about Tomb Raider, bro. Ain't nobody talking about that shit on the field, bro. Nobody. National Security, Martin Lawrence's Silver Glock 18C. That one was a really cool gun. That's a really, really cool gun, too. It took me all night, but I finally installed my new SPR stock. It's now even more cursed. That's funny as fuck. You gotta send me pictures, too, when it's done, bro. You gotta send me pictures when it's done, RPG lovers. Olympus Has Fallen series, also great. All three of them. I didn't see the third one. I only saw the first two. Olympus and London Has Fallen. Those were great. I loved those two. Those are awesome. Is the third one worth watching? Is it? It was 7% down as well. Are there any other ones? Yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. I'm sure that there's more, obviously. I'm sure that everyone's going to have more suggestions as well. This was fun. Actually, I enjoyed it. I know I didn't get as many viewers compared to, like, a lot of the other previous streams, but honestly, I didn't really care. I wanted to do something a little bit different for a Monday stream. I thought it was fun to have this little back and forth, right? Us talking about all these different movies and kind of going down a little bit of memory lane. Going down memory lane, talking about all these movies that got us into Airsoft or got us into guns in general, right? Got us into the scene. I'd be totally down to do a tier list as well for video games. Oh, 100%. You know, you're talking your CODs, you're talking, you know, your Left 4 Deads, right? You're talking all this stuff. I 100% would be down to go ahead and do that as well. But remember, guys, we do have a giveaway going on this Thursday. Make sure to get those orders in. Don't miss out. You're going to want to make sure that you are paying attention. Otherwise, you basically forfeit your chance of winning. Hopefully, you guys were able to take advantage of the promotion I had going on for the 2 hours. If not, I mean, you know, it is what it is. You can still have your shot at getting entered into the giveaway. All you gotta do is place a $20 or greater order, and you're automatically entered. That's literally it. That's all you gotta do. Again, I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you haven't already, make sure to leave a like on this live stream. I know we were sitting above 30-something viewers, almost 40 earlier, but only 19 likes. Guys, gotta make sure to leave a like on the live stream. Again, I appreciate every single one of you guys for dedicating your free time hanging out with myself and, of course, with the rest of the Airsoft community. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I would not be here if it weren't for you guys. And as always, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Take it easy, sleep sound and safe, and